From two people writing out their contracts, Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
That was me writing.
Oh, I see. Normally I'd say hello and welcome to Xplay, but we finally have Half-Life 2, so who cares about being formal?
This is the sequel to one of the best and biggest PC games ever made, 1998's Half-Life.
And we've been waiting for Half-Life 2 for years.
It was supposed to come out in September 2003.
And then there were leaks, there was stolen code, there was hacking.
And at times we wondered if Half-Life 2 would ever be released and if it would be completely dated by the time it did.
Well, wonder no more, it's here. And we have our review later in the show.
But that's not all by a long shot.
We also have Robotech.
A game where you get to play as an evil super genius.
And another darn Vietnam game.
This is like the 5th one we've reviewed in this 1 month.
I know. But we begin by ramping up your excitement for our Half-Life 2 review by spoiling the ending from the first game. And if you haven't beaten it by now, well, you've had 6 years to do it. There's no excuse.
Cool, I wrote about the original Half-Life.
Yeah, we're not big fans of the end of the first Half-Life. Now, how do we like the end of the second one? Find out when we review Half-Life 2 later in the show.
But first, a moment of bliss for all the Robotech nerds out there.
People love the Robotech anime series, but so far there hasn't been a good game made out of it. Will Robotech Invasion change that? Oh, Adam, the show is not Spartacus, and the interns are not Tony Curtis. Don't tell me you made them give you a pedicure.
Of course not. Made them give me a sponge bath. Snails and oysters for everyone.
Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Yes, the negligent, indifferent parents he never had.
So sweet. Welcome back to Xplay. Now later in the show, we have our review of the biggest PC game of the year, Half-Life 2.
And we waited 6 years for it, so you can wait 10 more minutes.
Why? Because first, we have another Vietnam game. Okay, in the last month, something like 6 Vietnam games have been released, which raises one important question.
Why? I mean, yes, there are dozens upon dozens of World War II games. At least some of them shake things up by having zombie Nazis, like in Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Or vampire Nazis, like the original Blood Rain.
So far, there are no Viet Cong zombie games, but if developers keep cranking out titles like Conflict Vietnam, it's only a matter of time before the North Vietnamese unleash their undead upon unsuspecting GIs.
But until then, we'll just have to fight an enemy who hasn't been reanimated. Here's our review of Conflict Vietnam. You sound like a Wookiee when you die.
If you must play a Vietnam game this year, please choose Battlefield Vietnam because most of the other games are more protracted and painful than the actual Vietnam conflict.
Or you could just play one of the Cloud City battles from Star Wars Battlefront, which has actual Wookiees, and Empire Strikes Back is like a dark Vietnam-esque chapter of the Star Wars franchise.
Which would make Episode 4 like World War II, and Alderaan is the new Poland.
I know. I just realized something.
What?
We are dorks.
Oh yeah!
Sessler and Morgan Webb.
No, thank you.
Hopefully someone will make out with this embodied guy first.
No, thank you. Welcome back to Xplay.
Later, we have our Half-Life 2 review. But first, a PC game where you get to play a supervillain.
No, it's not City of Heroes spin-off City of Villains. It's a strategy game called Evil Genius. And here's our review. Blender, I gotta remember that one. Now stick around. When we come back, 6 years of waiting are over.
Waiting for what?
Just watch.
Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to Xplay.
For the last half a decade, we have been looking forward to the release of Half-Life 2.
Now this year, the PS2 had Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
The Xbox had Halo 2.
And the GameCube, well, it was supposed to have Resident Evil 4.
But now, it's time for the PC people to prepare themselves for some serious shock and awe when we at last bring you our review of Half-Life 2. Alright, there you go.
Okay, now leave and go play the game.
Play Half-Life 2. What are you doing? You should be playing it. Don't look at me. I'm not allowed to look that good.